And lastly, the paradox and the enigma, now apparent in a place called Seattle, Washington, Capitol Hill. Art and creativity, and the masterpiece, the anarchists, the Antifa, and the Black Lives Matter, and all of those white supporters with families and voting rights, willing, emotional compassion for civilization and planet Earth now, who have built what they're describing in their words, in their philosophy, in their ideology, in the community where they live, in their homes, eat at their Whole Foods, yell and scream at their scary nightclub, and play gangster thug, rioter, and violent destroyer, using barbarianism and Norse code as their honor and their ethics and their morals for their victorious drumbeat now. And they've shown in this part of the city and downtown especially the power of the mass struggle, the crowd with anger and mind brutality, graffitiing, spraying colors with paint cans, making the environment go in the wrong direction now. Fans cheering them on, sitting with signs on the sides of the roads, in lawn chairs. Black fists on the concrete. Painted on the ground. They call their own. Smells of perfume and urine. Shoefuls of dog poop and human excrement. Sleeping bags in the middle of the sidewalks where kids should be riding bikes and yelling and proclaiming their life. And freedom to explore and discover. There's no data and information, no evidence needed other than going to China and hearing some Tibetan talk about how they can't put prayer flags up in the wilderness, in the mountains, in the Himalayas. Or some Uyghur Muslim who has been indoctrinated and educated similar to the university and college called the University of Washington and Harvard, Yale, and Berkeley in California and other parts of the country here now. Or go to Russia and find someone who's brave enough to say to Vladimir Putin, he's not as indigenous as his photos describe on the internet and the videos he posts on his media now. Nobody's willing to go to North Korea and say to Kim Jong-un, they're a doctor, they're a healer, they're a medic, and they can help with his gout and solve his obesity, horrible wellness next to South Korea, where they don't practice anarchy. They pray and hope he doesn't invade. Nobody hears a voice in the distance anymore from the roar and the silence. So many people have made law and rule and a tribal code of conduct. The energy for this example and description come from the medical offices in the buildings where the anarchists got their degree in philosophy from the European Renaissance and the medieval castles. The history from Gramsci and Benjamin, Stalin and Mao, and bought their Soviet items and their Chinese red materials from the shops they went to during their dissertation, PhD, diploma, graduate degrees. A system of health not solving the problem of behavior, but figuring out what are the limits and how to control the masses within those restrictions. And then decided to give free services and counselors and some dollars and cents in bank accounts to fill in the gaps in their thinking and thought and their system and their domination. With AI and algorithms, technological engineering for mind control and mental ability. Using mystery and religion to eliminate freedom instead of liberty, democracy, happiness, and honor. Now, and all of the other parts of the world and the planet and the earth and the planning for a nation with no ally, no other advisor, principle, punishment, and rigorous. Fingernail now. The entire left side of the United States of America has so many people willing to go to Europe and go to China and then go to other places in the world to make an earth diverse and ethnically responsible under the jurisdiction of those who brutalize, murder, and kill and restrict and limit what they're trying to say they're providing to their students in the form of intelligence. And instead of IQ, they talk about politics and activism, have marches on campus instead of solving an engineering nightmare now. They close their doors instead of saying to people and folks to join their cause and have their administration and staff hand out applications, test-taking strategies and tactics on the day of addition, subtraction, and some language, and some science, and some answers now. Saying to those rednecks they're white, racist, and supremacists, destroying what they're protecting. What they're accomplishing now. They call each other comrades. Faculty. And they give scholarships and tenure now. Attend funerals. And praise. What they don't say aloud. They're the people who build a place like Seattle. They're a part of Los Angeles with homelessness, and they live in San Francisco in their houses next to the person they allowed to camp and dump their droppings on the floor. On their way to their market where they eat small amounts of food and use their energy wildly and abundantly. Growing old, skinny, having their DNA said to be a rainbow in their body, dressing as unicorns and having parties in the desert called Burning Man, the male human. They've made a neutral gender now.